Well, first of all, Archbishop, thank you so much for finding the time for us to get together today. It was very nearly an act of God in the shape of a volcano that almost stopped us getting together in the first place.
Did you hear the thing, the exchange between Britain and Iceland? Somebody
No.
in Britain, they communicate with somebody in Iceland and say, "Why did you send us all this ash?" And the Icelandic man says, "Well, yes, but isn't that what you asked for?" And the Brit says, "No, you silly so-and-so, cash." That is what we wanted, you dyslexic.
Western world sees, with some degree of nervousness, China seeming to buy up all the raw materials, whilst the West feels it's giving aid to Africa. The Chinese are buying the raw materials. Thinking of the African people first, which is best for the Africans? The Chinese investment in their businesses or the Western aid, which in many cases has to be repaid?
Yeah, I would say almost neither. In the best of all worlds, we would have said what ought to have been happening is we should be looking at the international economic system, because there must be something wrong where you can have in one part of the world people give a cow $2 a day. In the EU, there's a daily subsidy for cows, $2. That there are people who live on less than $1 a day. What has happened to us that we can't see that this is unconscionable? God's dream is that we will eventually see ourselves as God intended, as members of one family, and this is not being romantic. It is actually realpolitik. I mean, look at the United States. How long have they been free? Well, they've been free from you Brits, and and I mean they've done wonderfully, But they are also still one of the most racists in some ways, and yet they can produce an Obama, a black.
And do you think he's doing a really good job?
I think he has made people of color everywhere, in a way like Mandela has. Made them walk taller. Which is great. Which is a very important achievement. It's not easy to be president of the United States. Just look at how long they took working out that it is a good thing if all the people of the country have affordable health care. Can you believe it?
Tell us about the great skill that you used in terms of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. How do people get people to face their disagreements in the past and move forward for the future? Because you did it for people who'd been murdering each other. What can business leaders learn in terms of getting on with people who are formerly enemies?
Well, I think that it is important to make people understand that whatever act it was or deed that they performed that was unconscionable, it didn't define who they were.
All right.
You know, I mean, sometimes you say once a murderer, always a murderer. There are people who say that. Now we say no. And you know, I mean, how sometimes when someone has, say, committed an atrocious act, many of us will say, what a monster. Well, we would say, no, the act is monstrous. Because in fact, when you say somebody is a monster, you give them an out. A monster does not have moral responsibility. And you are also saying there's no point in trying to be reconciled, because reconciling has got an eye on the future.